Hello, my loves. I hope you guys are doing well. Welcome into this stream. This is a just chatting stream. I have never done a just chatting stream before, so here I am just chatting with you guys. How are you? What is going on in your life? What is it that you could use a different perspective on? Let me know in the chat. Feel free to go ahead and chat here. I have all the chats on all of the platforms that I'm on right now pulled up. So if you please feel free to chat what is going on in your life right now and what it is that you are looking for a different perspective on. So I really have no idea where to start here. I guess we'll start with what I've been up to. So I just started with the solar shift into Aries, which means the sun moved from the astrological sign of Pisces into the astrological sign of Aries. It's in that sign until April 19th. And until April 19th, I'm really doing this new streaming schedule where it's Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays at 3 p.m., 6 p.m., and 9 a.m. And the 9 a.m. streams have been about meditation and Reiki and Ho'oponopono, so they're more of a relaxing vibe. The 3 o'clock streams have just been me just chatting and rock painting. So if you are interested in watching me rock paint for any reason, you can go ahead and check out that stream. And the 6 o'clock streams are for diving deep, are for me connecting with you guys, and for doing card readings, and for talking a little bit about the healing techniques that I like to use and sharing a little bit more of myself. So I guess what I want to talk about now is, and again, feel free to chat and feel free to connect. Hi, everybody. How are you guys? What is going on? The devoted and the vulnerable. I haven't actually talked about what that is or why it's my new name for everything. I keep checking to see if I have something in my teeth. Sorry. So the devoted and the vulnerable comes from the relationship dynamic that my partner and I have been exploring, and it's basically a landing page for my services and my offerings, and his services and his offerings. But the reason that devoted and vulnerable is so significant is because it has to do with this relationship dynamic that we are practicing. So it's been a really amazing and triggering and healing and revealing and humbling and rewarding and uncomfortable experience to explore this dynamic. It's called polarity, but that name kind of gives this idea of two opposites, which in sense it is, but it's not two opposites opposed to each other, right? A lot of times we think of polarity and we think of which is actually depolarization, right? The separating of two things. So this dynamic is basically best understood in terms of magnetics. So if you think of a magnet as a positive side, a positive charge, and a negative charge. And the positive side, we could say, is the masculine pole, the giving energy, the penetrating energy, the exerting outward moving energy, and the negative pole is the receiving energy. It's the receptive energy, it's the drawing in energy. And so the relationship dynamic is simply based on the partners in a relationship choosing one pole, and the other one partner choosing one pole and the other partner choosing the other pole. And what happens when this occurs is that there's a magnetic attraction, right? Because if you put a positive pole and a positive pole together, they're going to repel, right? If you put a negative pole and a negative pole together, it's going to repel. So in a relationship, this happens all the time when couples are unconsciously expressing their energy in a way that is repelling their partner. And this happens a lot in a lot of different ways for a lot of different reasons. My partner and I actually last year recorded the audio book based on the content that we were exposed to for this concept. And we were so inspired by it, we reached out to the author and asked if we could do the audio book. And he said yes. And we both learned how to I became an audio producer and he became a narrator. And it's a really great place to dive into this concept deeper. It's called Irresistibly Feminine by Zach Rohde, and you can access it from our website, devotedandvulnerable.com/audiobook. That is where it is on our site, so you can get access to it from there. So it explains a lot more in detail about this dynamic and how it works. And I really think the only more I want to say about that at this point is just that it has been really supportive for me in recognizing how I have sabotaged relationships in the past, recognizing what has gone wrong in my relationships in the past, recognizing how I've been acting out of a place of trauma response rather than a place of feeling safe and secure in relationships, and really a whole new view on what it means to be feminine. So if you guys want to chat about anything, please feel free to write in the comments. If you are here, please say hi, please comment. This is a new, like I said, new schedule, so I'm trying to get used to being on at 6 o'clock so we can kind of connect and chat and create community. So please feel free to join in this space and chat away if that feels good and right to you. And I guess I'll just continue talking about this relationship dynamic, because I've really been wanting to share about this dynamic, but not knowing how, and not really knowing what to say. And so since this is just chatting, it seems like a perfect time to just kind of blab about it. One of the things I found the most humbling and triggering about this dynamic is the realization that what I thought was feminine expression, what I thought was being an empowered woman, being an empowered feminine, is actually being a woman in her masculine energy and repelling the masculine because of that, right? And again, this is just because of the repelling energy that the positive pole has with the positive pole, right? We're talking again in magnetics here. Sean says, without polarity, material reality wouldn't be possible. The degree of harmony between the polarities determines the degree of coherence in relationship. Yeah. So Sean is my partner here, so he understands the dynamics of polarity, and I love that he's popping on here to say hi and to share his point of view. Yeah, definitely. And we've definitely been experiencing harmony in our relationship, even though, you know, for me to step into my feminine, what that really means is allowing myself to be expressive, allowing myself to be led, which I think is the most triggering thing for any woman to adjust to when it comes to this dynamic, is allowing the masculine pole to lead. And as the feminine pole, and again, it doesn't matter your gender, it just matters which pole you identify with. Allowing the masculine pole to lead, and as the feminine pole being receptive to that lead and following that lead. So that has been one of the most triggering things for me, because I was raised in a household where it is the sign of feminine power is how much like a man you can be. And how much doing and how much devoting and how much competence and how much not needing a man can you do in order to show the power of the feminine spirit. And that, I've been learning, is actually not the, in this relationship dynamic and in this relationship harmony, it's really not the most beneficial way to express. The most feminine pole way, right? So the feminine pole is just expressing emotions. So for the longest time, when I would want to lead something, or I would want to guide something, or I would want to say something, it was difficult for me to be like, what is the feeling here? How can I express the feeling? And then, even if I knew the feeling, just to feel safe enough to express the feeling and trust that the feeling would be heard, would be listened to, would be cared about, would be responded to. And the other really hard and triggering thing about this dynamic is allowing yourself to release, as the feminine pole, allowing yourself to release attachments to outcomes. So that's super, super difficult. But I found more and more that as I trusted my partner to care about the vision of my heart and the energy of my heart, it was really, it became easier and easier to express my heart to him, because I recognized, as this dynamic talks about, that the more and more a feminine pole expresses to her masculine pole the truth of her heart, the more and more his devotion naturally is activated, because he truly does care. He truly does want to devote. He truly does want to serve. His energy is all about penetrating and devoting and giving, and that's when the masculine pole feels the strongest in their vibration and in their energy. So by allowing the masculine pole to see the feminine pole's heart, it gives him the ability to share his energy the way that it's meant to be, the way that it's magnetically, electronically designed to move, if that makes sense. So that's a little bit of me rambling about polarity. So if you guys want to chat about anything else, please feel free to comment here in the stream. Please feel free to share what you would like a different perspective on. Something cool and interesting about my name. So I was doing this thing where it's like you had to put your first name in and look up what it was, and then your middle name, and it was blank of blank. And then you would read your name as if that was your title. So Paige means messenger, and it actually means noble messenger, and Allison means nobility. So my name literally means noble messenger of nobility. And so what I find with that name, and what I really resonate with the name Paige specifically, is that I am a messenger. I am here to share messages with the world, share different perspectives with the world. That's where my Sagittarian nature comes in. So if you're not familiar with the Sagittarian archetype, it's the archer. And it is the energy of the centaur, looking at the stars, reading the stars, seeing things from a different perspective while having 4 feet on the ground. And that really is a gift that I feel I am here to bring to the world, is to offer a different perspective. And perspectives can be such a beautiful way for us to move through an emotion, to move through a awareness of something, to move through an understanding of something, and to allow ourselves to really express another aspect of something that we've been struggling with. So I am here to offer different perspectives if that's supportive to you. Some of you know I also do card readings, so if you are interested in diving into what card readings are and what they offer, I would recommend you can check out it's in the description here, the solar reading for the season of Aries that I did live stream on Sunday at 6. You can check that out for guidance. You just need to know what your astrological sun sign is. And if you don't know that, there is a link to a video that I did, which takes you through step-by-step how to add your birth data into this site, cafeastrology.com, and how to find your chart and how to read it. So you can go to my video tutorial. You can just go to cafeastrology.com. And if you don't know your birth time, there's a way to find your birth time by dowsing. So I have a video about how to use a pendulum to dowse for your birth time if that's something that you don't know, because it's really helpful to, in the process of knowing ourselves, to know our energetic makeup, to know the astrological weather that was in the skies when we were born. It doesn't mean that it's like the be-all end-all of who you are, because we're ever-changing beings as the stars are ever-changing, and it's not this strict structure, but it is a way that I myself personally have found that I can understand myself better, but I can also understand the differences that other people have, and really relate to them and their gifts in a different way. Rather than just feeling like I'm an odd person out, I can recognize that, you know, this skill is unique to me because of this astrological influence, or, you know, regardless of the astrological influence, it's something that I've identified as unique to me, but somebody else has something different that's unique to them, and it doesn't make one of us better or worse than the other. It just makes us have different flavors, different expressions, and that's part of the beauty of this world. So it helped me understand myself, astrology, but it also helped me understand other people. So card readings are a way to really tap into the guidance of the universe. So whatever you call universe, whatever you think of as the supreme energy of love and light in this world, or whatever energies you go to for guidance outside of yourself, this is the energies that the card readings really tap into. So it could be God, goddess, angels, guardians, ancestors, fairies, star family, mythological creatures, any of these energies. Your higher self, source, the universe, any of these energies that you go to for support. And you call them into the space to be with you in a card reading. Now let's talk about the cards. There's a certain amount of cards in a deck, depending on which deck. The tarot has a specific amount, and oracle decks are pretty much random, depending on the deck and the author. But you have a set amount of cards inside of this deck. And if you understand that this isn't a random universe. Nassim Haramein does a great job in Quantum Evolution on Gaia. If you don't have Gaia, I totally recommend subscribing to it. It is absolutely amazing. It's the same price as Netflix, I think, for a whole year, maybe even less than Netflix. And it's like spiritual Netflix. Like, you can dive deep about really fascinating stuff and expand your mind and expand your consciousness while you're engaging in entertaining content. So Nassim Haramein has a show called Quantum Evolution on Gaia, and he talks about how this isn't a random universe. He talks about the probability of this being a random universe, and it's really incredible. The odds are almost zero. You know, they're not zero, but they're almost zero. And that means that this isn't a random universe. That means that this is an ordered experience that we are all living. And the fact that this isn't a random universe allows us to play with these cards and trust that the answers, the card that flips up, isn't a random card. They've also done experiments with people sitting in front of random number generators. And just by simply intending to see a result, they actually are able to see that result more often than the other results. So it's this idea of setting an intention with these cards using your connection with the universe. It's about setting that intention with the cards, which allows us to tap into the wisdom and the guidance that is available to us from these outer sources. But ultimately, the whole part of card readings for me that I love the most is guiding us back to the wise instinctive knowing that exists within ourselves. So the wise instinctive knowing that exists within ourselves can speak to us through the cards. And it's funny because most of the time when I do a reading for people, they tell me that they already kind of knew what I said or what the cards said, but the cards were just extra confirmation of that. And that's really the most benefit that we can get from the cards is confirmation of what our inner being already knows. Because as a society, we've all really lost touch with what the guidance within our heart is telling us. And the more and more we can tap into that guidance within our heart, the more and more we're able to navigate some of the more difficult situations in our lives. And the cards are basically a tool, a sacred tool to help us get to that knowing, help us to uncover that guidance, that clarity, and that understanding. So that's why I like to do card readings, because I feel that it is a great tool and a fun tool. I am somebody who loves games. I'm a recovering gameaholic, and that's part of why I use Twitch as one of my streaming services, because I used to follow some streamers on Twitch, and I really enjoy the gaming vibe. And I really enjoy playing games with people. But for me, it's more and more playing games that are serving my soul and not in the energy of competition. Because for me, the energy of competition is a vibration that I am phasing out of my life and my awareness and my existence. That doesn't make it wrong. It's just something that I personally have been phasing out. So the cards are a way for me to still get that like game energy, but also to utilize it to really bring improvement, bring support, bring clarity to people. And I find that really a blessing and supportive. So another thing that I've been doing that I do, so those of you who might be getting to know me a little bit more through this just chatting stream, I do a healing service called Reiki. So Reiki is an energy healing technique that was developed in Japan and brought over here, I think in the mid-50s, but I might be wrong on that time frame. And Reiki stands for Universal Life Force Energy. So essentially what it is the people who are trained in this technique are able to be conduits for the energy of light that flows through our universe. Again, you could call it God, you could call it Source, you could call it your angels, guardians, ancestors, fairies, star family, mythological creatures. This is that energy that's coming through from them. And it is really supportive to your body, your physical body, your spiritual body, your emotional body, your mental body, to receive the vibration of this life force energy, because what it does is it acts as a tuning fork. This is like your home vibration. Like, this is like the source. This is like where you came from. So as a practitioner, channels the energy to you. It helps to align your frequency to that of the universal life force energy, which helps get you in touch with your higher self, which helps get you, helps relieve physical sensations, physical pain, and helps to provide all sorts of levels of healing in different ways and different levels. So there's different levels of training. I am a Reiki practitioner 3, which means that I can actually send Reiki energy through a distance. So my morning stream on Tuesday was a Reiki healing. So if you want to check that out, you can go ahead and go to my YouTube video, or just scroll down my Facebook videos, or whatever service you like to use, and find the distance Reiki one. Again, that was Tuesday morning at 9. And I do private sessions. So if you want to book a session with me, just send an email to devotedandvulnerable@gmail.com, and we can set up some time. I don't have it set up on my site right now. It's not linked to a calendar, so we can't do online bookings for that service specifically. But you can reach out to me, and I am happy to offer you a session and conduct a session with you. So another thing that I do that I love is guiding meditations. So meditations are, they're beautiful. So if you're one of those people who don't think you can meditate, stay with me here for a moment, because you can meditate. Meditation isn't about not thinking. That's a particular type of meditation, and it's an outcome of what can happen when you get to a brain state of absolute relaxation. But it's not actually, whether you can meditate or not is not dependent on whether or not you can stop your thoughts. So that's just kind of a misnomer that people kind of think. But it's not true. Meditation is really more a practice of focused thought and awareness and relaxation, and the practice of going within. Meaning, when you shut your eyes, you actually turn off the external world here. I forget how many receptors that you turn off, but it's like 1/5 of them or something. 4/5 of them get shut off when you close your eyes, and you only have like 1/5 of the receptor sites in your brain active when you close your eyes, because so many of the things going on in your brain have to do with the sight. So when you shut your eyes, you actually have a really powerful, focused, inward attention. And as you practice putting your mind in a specific place of focus, whether it's on your breath, whether it's on a visualization, whether it's on your body, whether it's on your heart, whether it's on your manifestations, it doesn't matter what it is that you're focusing on. The practice of meditation is getting yourself into that space of focus. And the ability for you to train your mind to flex the meditation muscle and get your mind to follow you where you consciously want to be thinking and feeling and focusing in your meditation space actually moves into your outward space, your outer life, and helps you to focus on what it is that you want to focus on, rather than the mental chatter of the mind that kind of takes us on these journeys that don't really serve us. They really help to bring that habit of redirecting your mind back to what you're focusing on. It helps you to develop that. I started meditations, and I was doing like an hour meditation like every day for probably 6 months, and I saw like no improvement. I was so frustrated. My mind just would not stop dialoguing with me about how terrible I was at it. And I just knew I had to keep going. And eventually I recognized that meditation was more of a feeling space. And I gave up on my control of needing it to be perfect. And I just allowed it to be a practice. And I allowed myself to be good at it some days and not as good at it some other days. And just kind of was more gentle and loving with myself about it. And that's when the shift really happened. So nowadays I guide meditations because it's something that I love to do. And I've noticed that it is a gift that I have. So I like to offer it. there is a new service that I'm offering. It's a chakra meditation service. So we are going through the chakras, which are just basically energy centers in the body. Each energy center has a different theme and has a different energy that can block it. So each week we have a new meditation that is released, and it's through the app WhatsApp. So you do have to have WhatsApp in order to access it. But it's through WhatsApp, and it's devotedandvulnerable.com/services. And it's only $14.40 a month, so it's super reasonable in the affordable space. And I have to tell you that this first meditation that I recorded actually blew me away. I was like, oh my gosh, this is high quality stuff. And it was just really humbling for me to be able to see how far I've come in my own guiding meditations, and to know the value that I'm offering. So I know it's a value, and if you feel inclined to sign up, go ahead and check it out. So my friends, I know I just keep talking, and I don't really have anything else I feel to update you all on, or to talk about, or to share. One of the things that I do want to share here in this space is my technique of tapping, which helps to pain manage. And that is something that I feel, though, that I'll do a whole stream on instead of just talking about it now. But I guess I'll go into it really quickly before I end here. So tapping is an energy healing technique that combines acupressure and psychology to basically manage pain. And this could be physical pain, it could be emotional pain, spiritual pain, mental pain, anything. What it does is you tap on the endpoints of the meridian lines, which are energy lines in your body that have now been found by science. And as you tap on the endpoints of the meridian lines, you send a signal to your amygdala, which is the fear center of your brain. And as you do that, you're helping to rewrite the neurological, biological response you have to a certain trigger, to a certain area of pain in your life. It's like if you're in fight or flight as an animal, your body's not going to know that it's safe to relax and heal. So by tapping, and I'm just going through the points here, just kind of talking about it as I go through, but tapping allows us to tap in to our bodies a new biological, physiological response to something that normally puts us in a fight or flight state. It actually helps bring us into a relaxed state where then the body knows it's now safe to heal. So through talking about the issue, giving it a name, giving it a color, giving it a sensation, giving it an emotion, and giving it a voice, we allow ourselves to really change the way our physical body biochemically responds to this pain that we are having, and it helps to relieve the pain as you go through it. And there's also a way of using tapping to affirm new things in your body and new awarenesses. For me, there's always a energetic issue behind all physical pain. So no matter what physical pain you're going through, the only reason it's manifested in the dense form of the physical is because there's been an emotional, a mental, or a spiritual injury that's been ignored to the point of the message needing to get so loud that you can't help but listen to it. You're forced to listen to it because the pain is so prevalent. But the area of your body that it forms, the type of injury that it is, how the injury expresses itself, what you were thinking when you got injured, all of these things are going to lead you back to an understanding of the message behind why it is that these things happen to you. So that's another reason that I like tapping, because it gives us this great tool to use while we kind of peel the layers of the onion of what it is that tapping really helps to, what it is that this pain, this issue in your life, this trigger, this most pressing area of your life is bringing up for you, and helps you to kind of unpack it and understand it. And then as soon as the message is received, the messenger, aka the pain, gets to be released. So I kind of like to think of like physical pain or any pain as like a messenger standing there with a note for you, right? And they're gonna do their job as messenger, and they're gonna wait until you receive the message. They're going to get more and more insistent that you receive this message, you get this message, here, take it, take it, take it, take it, take it. And it's going to get louder and louder and louder until you understand what that message is. And a lot of times it has to do with stuff from our past that we haven't gone back to and really felt and really allowed ourselves to see and process, and to get out of the pain and flight and fight state that original trauma put us into. And the physical pain or the emotional pain or the situational pain that's coming up in our lives presently is really most of the time guiding us back to a very similar energy that happened to us in childhood, that we are now being offered the opportunity to truly, fully heal and clear. And then, of course, you can program all the beautiful, wonderful affirmations that you want to into the space to replace the energy of what it is that you took out. All right, my friends, that is all I have for you. There's nobody here chatting, so I am just going to sign off for the night. I will see you guys again on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. For anyone interested, I don't know what I'm doing yet. Reiki, Ho'oponopono, or meditation. Something relaxing for our morning session. So, as always, namaste. The universal light within me salutes and honors the universal light within you. Namaste.